the work in and you start seeing the results as minor or as insignificant as you think it might be, is that is an undescribable feeling of, I would say, joy, that you feel, and it makes you feel like, yes, I need to continue. I want to continue. I want to become better. But I feel like for me, it's like, now that you're hearing things, you're applying it to your life, you tend to feel like, am I putting too much pressure on myself in terms of trying to become this person, or thinking everything that you do is like you're thinking, okay, is this good? Is this not good? Is this, you know what I mean? So it's really an indescribable feeling that you feel when you're able to acknowledge the rewards of the work, right? But in a sense, for me, it also you feel like you put pressure on yourself trying to not maintain it, but you always like thinking about it, thinking about it, thinking about it. So I don't know if other people like feel like that too.
I guess today's post was for Lisa.
Because even like today, it's Monday morning, you're going to work and you're like, oh my gosh, it's Monday. But I mean, I went to work and I had the most awesome day, because you're seeing like things that you asked for is actually, putting into my job, my work environment is actually manifesting. I acknowledge that most of the problems was me within myself. And once you like acknowledge that, it's like, wow, wow.
The thing is, you should never really be hard on you, because what are you actually comparing it to?
I mean, I think that you're comparing it to like what how you used to be, and
Then you can't be
accepting.
hard on you if you're comparing it to what you used to be.
Mm,
Understand what you're saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because there's nothing to compare it to. Who you
Uh,
used to be, you move along and you evolve into something greater, then you should just be celebrating that. What we tend to do is we look at where we think we should be when we don't even know exactly what that destination is.
mm,
So you just embrace where you are as you develop, because more things will be given on to you. That's
mm.
essentially what the universe does. It just continues to put more so that you could be a beacon. That's essentially as it goes. So you just allow things to flow and continue to celebrate.
So, like, I was having a conversation with one of the other nurses, and we was talking
Mhm.
about meditation today. And
Yeah.
she was saying that, I guess where I used to be like, she can't meditate because, the thoughts. I was trying to explain to her that, you know, for me right now, it's not, I kind of pass the thoughts. It's just about the feeling that I get in the stillness, in the quietness, and just really enjoying that moment, right?
Yeah.
And then she said that she feels better, like if she's outside walking, like she's more relaxed and more at peace if she's outside walking. So then that's her form of meditation. It doesn't necessarily mean
That's
that you have
right.
to sit still.
That's right. Yeah. Because what we tend to believe is we tend to look at life and decide that everything must fit in a particular mold.
Mm,
But you can find meditation in so many different areas of your life.
mm,
This is one of the key things. You might be washing the dishes, and because you're there in the moment and you feeling everything that you're doing, you are in a meditative state.
mm,
So the the principal part of meditation is the recognition that we are nothing, essentially. All those things that we believe we are, our titles and whatever we give glorification to, essentially, we are nothing,
mm.
because you can't change anything outside of you. And then you are still subjected to what you bring into your life because of your own thoughts.
Mm.
So at the end of it all, we're everything and nothing. And in meditation, people don't really like to deal with it because in meditation, you realize that you are nothing. And it's hard to face yourself in the mirror when you recognize that all these things that I put as my greatness really has nothing to stand on, because eventually time will pass and you will die.
Mm.
So, really, there has to be something different or something more. And that's essentially what you look at when you go into meditation, and you get to discover you. So if she does it in nature, or just even walking through the blocks, block after block, just the fact that she is walking, the walk would have a rhythm and a pattern, because we all walk with patterns. The heart will be beating at the same time. And if she is into what she is doing, she will get into that meditative state.
Mm.
So it's not really about sitting and putting your hands, in particular ways. You can do it that way, and you can do it, somebody might do it through swimming,
Mm.
or through sport when they get into a flow state. It's just where you get the most efficient practice of your being.
Okay.
And don't be hard on you.
Today I woke up in a really kind of down kind of state, and the
Didn't
question
happen
came to
again.
me, like, what is the purpose? What is your purpose in life? You know what I mean? Like, you just wake up and it's like, okay, why are we here? The ultimate question, like, why are we here? And I think for me it was, okay, we came here to enjoy the time, but then you caught up in the 9 to 5, you caught up in this, you caught up in that, and then it's just like you're so overwhelmed with all the things of the world that you kind of lose track of the real purpose, like, why am I here? Why?
So try to imagine, right? Because in this era, under that name that you carry, you would have those thoughts. But this wouldn't be your first time here, if you
Mm,
understand what we're saying.
mm,
And there will be many more to come, because you are evolving. You are actually engaged in your purpose. But we always believe that purpose is something smaller. Understand
Finite.
what I'm saying? You understand?
mm,
We believe that is something, a particular destination that we are trying to get to, that we believe is purpose. But the fact that you came here, your purpose is wrapped in there already. And as you live throughout each day, you are fulfilling purpose.
mm,
Everyone's purpose is different, yet there are similarities. And it's the same way that you continue to evolve as you go along, you are fulfilling your purpose. So the more you know yourself, the greater that you become. And essentially, therein, you discover so many different things about you.
mm,
It's okay to wake in the morning and not feel great, to have a down morning or down day. Don't ever believe that you need to try to fight against your feeling at that time to get a smile on your face. What you need to do is understand why you feel that way. And then when you understand what you're feeling, then you can move away from it. But if you don't understand yourself and understand what you're feeling, then that feeling might carry you through the entire day and bring the rewards that you're seeking because of that feeling. Follow?
yeah.
So it's It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And it is okay. All things well. You don't have to try to be anyway. You are made up of just more than your mind. Those three key elements based on even more than what is going on within you from a physiological level, because of the being that you are, you absorb and attract your things from the environment. So they also affect you in many different ways. That's not something that we would discuss when we do on Mondays, but in the days to come, there would be classes that would deal with that specifically, that you could understand how these things work, because they are there in reality, that we must deal with in a significant way. Is
I
the understanding of self is way deeper than just looking in the mirror.
but sometimes them feelings is really big. It's like you're sailing on an ocean and chase, and then a big wave just come and somebody because you're trying to hold everything together and it's just be too much times.
And the thing is, these things tend to happen, especially when you're trying to take yourself from one level to the next.
Mhm.
It's funny how the spiritual dynamic and the physical dynamic and even the mental dynamic always follow the same sort of pattern. You go to school, you learn, you retain, and you are tested on all levels. It's the same. What we tend to do is in the physical, we try to fight against our tests. In the mental, we try to run away completely from anything to do with being tested. And spiritually, we try to stay away, as because we know that spiritually we're going to be exposed, and once you're exposed, you feel vulnerable, and I don't want to feel that way. That's what we tend to think. So it's just trying to understand these things as we place our life in the balance that we seek.
So,
So when this wave comes and the ship knocks over, there are times when you embrace it, and there are times when you could fortify the ship even before, because you should know that the wave would come.
so I have a question on it where you say with in terms of you being tested, right?
Hmm.
So there are certain things in like in my life, you went through certain things relationship wise, you kind of over, so now you kind of know what you want, right? But then you find yourself, you the people that are kind of coming into the picture is kind of people with the same type of
Hmm.
things you're trying to get away from. So is that
Hmm.
are you being tested? Is it that
Of
that's
course.
what you're continuing to attract, or
Question for you: who is doing the testing?
who is doing it? Who is doing the testing?
Yeah.
I would say to me I would think God is probably testing me to see what I am.
And
I don't know. I
that's where
wouldn't
the
test
chaos is.
myself.
That's where the chaos is. You are doing the testing
How am
because
I
you
doing the
already
testing?
know what you want to achieve. But that true you is essentially this journey that you are on is the soul's journey. And that's who you are. But the mind has a different understanding of who you are. So you have separated yourself. This is why we're discussing connections tonight. You have separated yourself completely in your understanding of the world, and you are functioning there. But every single thing that you need, your soul attracts. And what you do not want in your life, your soul will attract. So every test that you bring to your life, guess who does it? Your soul does it.
Yeah,
Your soul is
God.
your spiritual connection to the one that you are, not
So
your mind.
Wait, I'm lost. I'm lost. So I am lost from
That's why we have tonight.
I'm lost from the separation. And
Mhm.
then if my soul is my true self, where's the attraction coming from? My mind and not really from my soul?
So let's get into this topic of connection. You essentially are beings. All of us, we are beings. Being in this essence that you are one with all things, experiencing everything. So if you are one with all things, experiencing everything, doesn't it sound like just one?
Yeah,
Is it?
yeah.
So you are one. But in order for you to function different to Adana or Catherine, you know, what happens here is that you would need your own mind.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a spiritual connection that everyone is also a part of. And then there's your mind, which you share as an individual. You're the individual mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's your individual body. So the oneness, you can see some form of duality because your mind and your body function separately. Your soul, which is connected within the body and mind, it appears to be from an individual standpoint your soul, but the soul exists on a spiritual level. And because there's a spiritual level, there is oneness. So the soul is connected, but your body and your mind, that's yours.
Mm-hmm.
So your mind is always and forever going to be attached to your soul.
Mm-hmm.
Your body is only a transportation vehicle. So
Mm-hmm.
when this journey is finished, that body rests,
Mm-hmm.
goes back to the one through a different form of energy. If you understand what we're discussing here, yes?
Mm-hmm.
So because you have a singular mind, you function your daily existence from birth throughout is based along the singular mind. And the singular mind looks out for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes? The singular mind, it interprets, it believes, it imagines, and it adjusts life to create.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to use the words here that would bring the essence of what we're discussing. Where your soul and your mind intersect is truth.
Mm-hmm.
That's truth. That is your truth, Katrин's truth, everyone here, the truth of everyone. There is one truth.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is your truth, the one that you create for your life.
Mm-hmm.
Because you essentially are a world within the world.
Mm-hmm.
I'm certain that everyone is listening because this topic is not for you specifically, it's for everyone. It's the discussion that we have in tonight with regards to connected and the connections.
Mm-hmm.
So your soul, your mind connect in truth. It is the only point that they connect. The only point. So if your truth is far removed from the truth,
Mm-hmm.
you will hardly connect to your soul. However, Your soul is like a mall, is like a store. It just delivers whatever you need. What is already written on the soul is based on how you choose to live, the thoughts
Mhm.
that you have, the actions
Mhm.
that you do, whatever. Yes?
Yeah.
That is written on the soul. So the soul is not concerned with what you do not want or what you want. The soul knows that this is what is necessary for you. So that's people, place, or thing. So you may want something, the mind focuses on this thing that it wants. The mind cannot create it. The mind only participates in creation. The rest of the journey is based within the soul. I am certain everyone is recognizing conscious, subconscious,
Mhm.
unconscious, and everything we spoke of last week. So the mind wants for something, and because you want for something, and it touches the connection in your subconscious, so it rests on your soul, where the point of truth intersects, that
Mhm.
thing is going to be manifested in your life.
But is it manifested? Is it manifested in the positive sense, or is it manifested in the negative
Any
sense?
which way,
It's based
any
on
which
what
way.
you think.
It's
What
based
you
on what is
focus on.
necessary for you at that time of your life.
Wait, hold on.
So if you, in your mind, focus on too much crime, too much crime, too much crime, I am afraid, you are going to bring that into your life at some point. If
Mm.
your mind says, I am going to achieve, I will achieve whatever my dream is, it is going to happen. As long as that dream rests upon your soul, it is going to happen. There's no doubt about it. It is going to happen. It happens for people, place, and thing based on what is already written, known from the very first day of your life. So we look at children as we discussed so long before, weeks ago. The soul is not a 2 year old and a 4 year old and a 5 year old. The very soul that belongs to the child is the very same age that you are. It's just that the expression is within a child. So they can't express at the same level that you can until the day comes when they can. And because of life, you may have changed and evolved where you no longer can speak in the same way that you are speaking today. Because life functions in cycles and patterns and science and processes. And the mind, because of the way we live, we function on feeling. But even in feeling, there must be wisdom. And we tend to function in feeling and reaction.
Mhm.
Reaction often is devoid of wisdom because it's based on how we feel, based on what we interpret as our life. And the interpretation of our life is never based on the truth that the soul will bring. The interpretation means that your mind is consciously trying to place an awareness of who you think you are. And in meditation, there is no interpretation of your life. In truth, there is no interpretation of your life. In truth, there is only who you truly are. And that must be accepted. So you accept who you are. It's a difficult position for many people because we base everything around what we believe the mind instructs. But your experience, your existence is not based upon your mind. This journey that you are on has nothing to do with your mind as the solution for all things. Your mind is only to assist you like a good captain. That's the use of the mind. So there's the soul, there's the mind, and there's the body. And what wraps all of it is the way you feel and how that connects the emotion that you draw within yourself to make up the being that you are. So the amount of emotion that you have will be different to the amount of emotion that someone else has, the types, the weight of that type of emotion. Yeah, we're going a little deep tonight. So what you're trying to achieve in life is to find the way that body, mind, and soul work together. And when body, mind, and soul works together as one, then there is a different understanding of feeling and reset of emotion. Understood?
Wait, before you go further, I just you when you talk about the soul and the scroll and everything is written, right? You know, like they say, like your life, once you're born, your life is kind of predestined. So if everything is
It's
written,
even before you're born.
okay, so if everything is written in within the soul, and the soul knows the truth, then how is it that if you the mind thinks negative, you get the negative? If you're saying that the soul put forth the truth, if you
What
understand my
is truth?
question.
Is truth something positive or negative?
Oh, so it's what you believe then to be
The
true.
truth,
Oh,
because that definition of what is good or bad, positive or negative, and everything else that's similar to that understanding is based within our own interpretation of who we think we are and what we believe is best for someone else. It's based on thoughts and not on truth. The universe is not concerned with what is positive or negative. The universe is just as you are. You truly are. So you can be anything, all things, based within the truth of your current existence. See that part again. Based within the truth of your current existence.
so the truth of your current existence is what you believe, may it be positive or negative, is whatever you believe at that point.
Is what in meditation, when you get to identify and you align body, mind, and soul, you would get a glimpse of your truth. Everything else would be an interpretation based on factors that would have come to your life. And based on that, we put ourselves in what Nicola references as a hot mess or in a successful whatever based on that understanding. So many times, because your soul and your mind function within the same space in the world that belongs to whatever your name is, what happens is that there are points of connection. And each time there is a point of connection, understand that something in particular will manifest accordingly.
Hmm.
So, in life, the wisest thing to do is live as happy and as clean as possible. so that what you bring to your life will help you to evolve to your highest. And your highest can be whatever you choose. So the more you understand yourself is the more you recognize that I can transcend other things. So we speak surface, but in different levels, you will understand that there are levels to the life that you live every single day. And you are choosing a particular space every single day in everything that you do. Any other question?
So
I had
time
a
was up.
I had an incident that happened earlier this week. Um, Me, myself, and the Holy Saints. Someone sent me a book, a PDF book, and I started reading it. And it was exactly what we've been talking about all these weeks. And I started to think as I'm going through the pages, some of the pages, because I really couldn't put it down initially. And I started to reflect on my own life and the things that had occurred in the past and the things that had decisions that I made and the way I responded to things. And then at one stage, I just felt the need to share the information with this particular person. And in it, I started to see that where I had seen this particular person in a negative light, a really negative light, and I never had a good word to say most times. Um, and I always found the person was at fault for whatever situation occurred. I started to see myself in that space where, based on all the things we've been learning, I started to say, Catherine, this had nothing to do with this other individual. This was all about you. And when we talked earlier about testing, being tested, it was it was like looking at, okay, this person came into your space and it forced you to have to make a decision. One was to keep your word on a promise that you had made. So you had to do that. And then I started to look at it again. I said, so once that was done, the purpose of the person probably had passed as well. It's you who, wanted to see the person in a particular light and interpret things in a particular light. But when you sit down and you look at it, it was what was, like Lisa is talking about, attracting people into your space. What was unresolved inside of you that could have brought this person into your space? What, in that particular instance, what did you promise God? And therefore that person came to test that promise. And if you had broken that promise, okay, what else would your life have? What would you have brought into your life based on breaking that promise? And in keeping that promise, what came into your life? And I suddenly felt the need to share the information with the person. But in wanting to share the information, I noticed that I didn't want to share it in a spiteful way. Normally, I would send something like that. If I'm sending it, and I would send it with, hey, you better learn this because you're clearly always wrong. So learn something now. And I found myself accepting the responsibility, if that's the word I want to use, responsibility for what had occurred, and that it had nothing really to do with this other person. It had all to do with me and what was either in me or what was to be or what was. And I just found myself wanting to share it from a position of, if this can be of assistance to you here, because it has been of assistance to me. So I share it with you. Mind you, my finger ain't touched the send button as yet, but it was just,
It was just in recognizing, you know, the spite was gone, the venom was gone, the 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 you are wrong was gone. It was gone. And what was left was just peace and calm. So if I send it today, if I don't send it at all, it will still be there's
That's
peace.
for you.
I
Well,
There's
wanna
peace.
thank you for sharing.
I wanna add
But
something because when Catherine said that, I think it was yesterday or today, I can't remember which day. Something came to me, and this something is a lot of times. Remember, everything is always working out for you, right? For your good. And remember,
That's
people
what
will
I'm saying.
enter your life and exit your life. And most times it's to teach you a lesson. But a lot of times we're so caught up on the person and not the lesson that the person taught. And then the person must be on a cruise in Jamaica. We still vex 5 years after. And it's like it wasn't even about the person. It's about, okay, this lesson was taught. I received this lesson. Thank you and release it. But a lot of times we still hold in the person, but it was never really about
Mm,
the person. And then I
yeah.
say, wow, that is so true because the person just was the purpose of the person was to teach you the lesson and that's it.
Yeah.
I just
You
want to
That
add
receive the
another.
Adana, you
lesson.
have it just perfect.
I
That's
want to
what
add
Perfect
came to me.
something
Felicia.
because it will be the person, the thing, and the places as well. Because we just hold on to things and places as well. And it was just for us to learn something and move on from it.
And that was it. And I tell
But
you,
I,
the person
I,
probably enjoying the life on a cruise somewhere in the Bahamas and we still vex.
Always, always have money.
but could I say something too from like
Mhm.
personal because I remember a couple of weeks ago when I was talking about, oh, I I got forgiveness, and then everybody was like, well, who really was forgiven? You had to, you forgive yourself. You didn't even, it wasn't about forgiving the person. But I think for me, the biggest thing is now is learning like there's no wrong. And when you understand there's no wrong, pe- whatever people do in their mind at that point in time, it's the right thing for them to do. It's up to you because of your belief and your morals that you might think it is wrong, but to them, they're doing right. At that particular point in time, they truly believe that they're doing what is best for them. And we are the ones that get offended because, oh, it's happening to me, or they did this to me, and I'm hurt. But like Adana said, they already moved on.
Yeah.
And they're happy because they did what they thought was best for them and they're satisfied and they're happy. And you like, oh my God, I can't believe you did this. And I can't, and you sitting there harming yourself, hurting yourself, and they're perfectly fine. So I feel for me, it's like once you understand like there's no wrong and everybody, no matter what they do, they are doing what they think is right for them at that time. It's either if it's done to you or you feel like whatever is done affects you, then you have the choice. You stay, you don't stay, you accept, you don't accept, you move away, you don't move away. But the choice is on you, how you deal with it, how you react to it. But to them, just like you might do something unconsciously consciously to someone and it affects them, you think you're doing what's right for you. I want to do this is what I feel like doing. But
Yeah.
it's up to you to accept or to deal with the situation in a way that you think is best for you.
so thank you for sharing, everyone.
We have a question. Yeah, what have you thinking here?
With somebody, if you're dreaming about it, does the dream signify things about things that they should look out for, or is it because you're in a relationship with somebody, your subconscious allowing you to have particular dream towards that person, and is it just overthinking a situation, or does dreams associate itself with connection?
You have heard what she said?
Yes.
So we'll take all that was said together and continue. What you all described is essentially what we were discussing. That's the interpretations based on the mind. We'll reference Abby after. So interpretations based on the mind is exactly what Catherine spoke of. And in order to find the understanding, it was necessary to put in front of you what was needed, and then you were able to recognize. So your recognition of truth and who you are, your soul will always try to pull the mind where it should be, where it should be. This clash, so to speak, happens to each every single day. Some pay attention, some don't. But you are always seeking reasons to be happy, reasons to be sad, reasons to be angry. Your mind is always seeking it. You know why? Because you have an ego. But we leave ego out of the discussion tonight and focus on soul, mind, and body. When you recognize, based on what Catherine said, Adana said, and Lisa said, and it is the view of so many others, but one day, as you try to identify yourself completely, you will realize that there is nothing other than you existing. There is only you. So everything else is based on interpretations. So you see other people, that's an interpretation. Things, people, places, interpretation. This is an understanding of the higher self. There is only one. And because this is your existence and your experience as you live, there is only your world. So there is no one who can do anything to you because there is only you. And there are other people who are also experiencing the exact same thing because they are only those people, each in their own world. And what comes in and goes out is based on the interpretation of the mind. Remember the discussion about children? And people were so offended by it because there is truth and there is your truth. And when you identify with truth, whether or not you choose to identify with truth, your soul will always lead you to where truth exists. So if your truth continues to flutter away from truth, you will attract things into your life to get you where you should stand. There is only your world. Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters because this is your experience, your purpose, your ideals. And there are those that are interpreted by your mind, and then there is what rests upon who you truly are from inception. Where Abby spoke, dreams are also a part of the soul trying to bring to your conscious awareness what is. Just like everything else in your life is always trying to bring into your conscious awareness what is. And when you are climbing to the highest, as you go to a different level in your understanding, your truth will try to get you to function more efficiently. Because as you function efficiently, your world will influence other worlds. But within your world, nothing else matters other than you. And the faster you can understand that, not in the interpretation based on your ego, but in the interpretation based on who you are in truth, body, mind, and soul, then there is a different understanding on your life. The connection, body, mind, and soul, that alignment is based in truth. And if you function in truth, even if it is your truth, once your truth is functioning in the same space that truth exists, your life will be completely washed, maybe the best word, and you will be placing yourself in a different space where there is the happiness you seek, the wisdom you seek. You don't have to seek abundance because abundance, like you, is. But because we are unaware of this, we seek abundance and we seek prosperity and we seek happiness and we seek all things without the understanding that these things are there already for you. So you don't have to struggle for it. It is going to come to you because it belongs to you. The mind needs to be trained to be aware of this. That's the case for meditation. That's the case for mindfulness. Catherine, the reason why you have to reach out to the other person so that they are aware is because that is another level for you. And it will be wise if you reach out face to face.
You know, funny enough, I said woosa, but I think at this point I could do it. I think at this point I could do it. I don't think I could have
You
done it
can.
before, before, before this week. But now I think I could do it, and I think I could do it here. I don't know what I'll say, but I tell myself I wouldn't say. The
You don't
words
have to
to
say.
be used will come.
In connection, when you connect, your mind has nothing to do.
Yeah,
All the words will be placed there for you.
yeah,
You just put it forward.
yeah,
Because in that moment, there will be an embrace.
yeah.
And the embrace is not within your world, it's two worlds embracing.
Although I was really liking the idea, just forward that link, just forward, and
You can forward the link and you can reach out as well to
okay,
meet up.
okay, okay. Yes,
It will
I feel
be
I could
good
do
for
that.
you both.
I feel I could. I feel at this point I could do that. Before that, I would be bitter. I would be bitter. But sometimes when you look at yourself, you wonder. I guess nothing happens before it's time.
Mm-hmm.
And if something is toxic, you really have to deal with it. And then, and in dealing with it, which is what I am learning more and more. The it is you. The
Mhm.
it is not
And there is nothing else. If
nothing
there is
else.
toxic, toxic is based on your interpretation.
Yeah.
It is based on your interpretation and the way your ego directs and manipulates who you are.
Yeah.
Abby, your dreams are speaking to you. And because your dreams are speaking to you would have to take time to understand what is being said. What is being said would involve you taking more time for that practice that you're doing. So as you sit quietly, ask a question and listen to what is being said.
All right, guys, the time is now 7:56. Okay, I see Abby sent a thumbs up, which is good.
I
So
have a question though.
go ahead, go ahead.
Um, in thinking about things, in thinking about life, and thinking about, okay, if we are love, if we are everything, and when I say the if, I'm not saying it as a doubt, but just as the beginning of the sentence. If we are already everything, wherever we were, why come here to learn to be that already and face the dangers of struggling and why if,
If there is a building to be created, does someone have to mix the cement, bring the glass, bring the blocks, build the rooms, furnish the building? Does someone have to do that?
yes.
If the understanding is yes, then you know why you are here.
Not really.
Because if you interpret that to mean that you have to learn to build the building, then you have still functioned from the mind solely.
No, I don't.
The universe evolves, and because the universe must evolve, there must be the creation of
Okay.
buildings.
This was just a case for why come at all. Favorite things are cozy. But no,
Whether you choose to do it from a physical perspective or you have evolved where you can function solely from a spiritual perspective, the buildings have to be
to
created.
do that. Okay.
Could I ask a question? Because this was a question. So it said, the body, once, we come to the end of the journey here, goes back. But doesn't isn't that decay, or the body is more than just the muscle and stuff? The body is goes back into vibrational energy spirit, or
The body is made up of matter, and what causes the matter to function is the energy within.
the matter.
When the energy goes out, the matter returns to where it came.
Mm,
Matter.
mm,
So we
okay.
will discuss in depth next Monday.
Cool.
So you all Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for logging on, and we will see you
Bye.
next week at the same